What abrupt decision did you make that completely changed your life? I was given 30 minutes to decide whether or not to leave my family forever. She told me she didn't love me repeatedly for months. According to her, I was a horrible daughter. Her friends from church had stopped coming weekly to yell at me and slap me senseless as well. I knew when she sent me away with my aunt and uncle the summer that had passed she had read my diary, where I detailed all the abuse and talked about wanting to die. She denied reading it, but it stopped the physical abuse, so now it was just verbal, and believe it or not, that hurt just as bad. I was unlovable and alone. She didn't work and depended on government assistance. She just sat at home chain-smoking and playing cards. During the week I woke myself up, made breakfast, and went to school. She complained about the smell of eggs in the morning, and of course, I was useless. I had a hard time socializing, and she decided she didn't like the friends I'd managed to make the previous year, so put me in a very small private Christian high school the church paid for. As a low-income, single-parent house, I was a freak among higher-income two-parent families. So I spent my days an outsider and bullied at school, and then came home to be bullied some more. I got in trouble once because someone told her I walked around with my head down and never smiled. I remember trying out and making the school play that year. I was so proud. My mother decided to use that as leverage for her every whim. If I did even the slightest thing wrong, she threatened to not allow me to be in the play. It got so bad I just quit the play rather than have it continually be held over my head as a threat. A school counselor regularly made me talk to him. I refused to give anything up. He persisted. He asked me if I was abused. Since she was no longer hitting me, I said no. I had no words to explain the verbal abuse. Being stupid and unlovable didn't seem to qualify. Then one magical day a girl at school approached me and we became friends. A few weeks later she asked me if I could spend the weekend at her house. Her house was beautiful and she lived with her parents and siblings, and it was loud, noisy, and chaotic. On the Saturday of our weekend sleepover, my new friend had to take piano lessons, so I was to hang out in her room until she got back. I was surprised when both her parents wanted to speak with me while she was gone. They informed me that the school had asked them to be my foster parents and presented me with a contract. They gave me 30 minutes to decide if I wanted to live with them. I was 14 years old. I had no friends. My mother was the only family I had ever known. I knew I was stupid. I knew that I was worthless and unlovable. 30 minutes was a ridiculous amount of time for a decision that would change the course of my life that I was too young to make. I didn't know these people at all. But a voice in my head screamed at me to do it, with everything it had. So I took that leap of faith. I jumped off the cliff away from everything I'd ever known. My roller coaster ride wasn't over by any means, but to this day I am so grateful I left. My life 30 years later is wonderful, and I often wonder where I would be if I had stayed growing up in that house.